Hello, I have been told that I am live right now, so welcome. My name is Catalystz, and this is the most shooty game of all the shooters here on Shots Fired. It's trilogy with some remasters on top of it, so it has to be good, of course. Right, so this is Dark Souls All Bosses. I'm just gonna say two things before I start, and that's I'm gonna start as Hunter. You can select different classes, they only vary in the starting stats. Hunter is good because he has a bow, and I'm gonna use a gift, which is like a bonus item from the start, and that's gonna be the Black Firebomb. I also have to play very slim because that's Speed Soul's unrealistic body standards, otherwise run is invalid. Anyway, so I guess we're ready to go, so start the timer in 3, 2, 1, now. That was an interesting loading screen. Okay, so basically the premise of this game, I'm pretty sure everyone's at least heard of Dark Souls, if not played it themselves. But the premise of this game that there's like a fire and you like gotta burn yourself with it or something, and that's basically the premise. So you're undead, that's kind of how you respawn and whatnot. Yeah, but I only realized yesterday that I could actually do this is there will be some bow action, don't worry. There will be some bow action. Perhaps next time. Anyway, this is all bosses. There's 26 bosses in this video game. This is one of them, and we're gonna start by throwing and shooting, of course, immediately. You can see these black firebombs being shot from my right hand, damaging Asylum Demon quite heavily. So those are 5 shots we've taken already. Absolutely certain that that counts. Okay, so that's the first boss. Now, not every boss is this easy, but most of them are. Has nothing to do with my skill, just has to do with the speedrun. So what you notice on the top left, obviously the health bar, right under that is the stamina bar. In order to perform any action, you need to have at least 1 stamina point. I'm gonna try to optimize my stamina usage so that like when I get to a door or a fog gate or something, I'm always gonna be lowest on stamina as possible, so that, you know, it keeps on recovering for as long as possible. So this is Oscar. He tells us some bollocks. We don't really care, we just need his keys. He talks about some insane, like, story about Chosen Undead, but we don't really care about that. So this is like one of the most important items in the whole game, which is the bow with some arrows. That's very cool. Here are hollows. I'm just gonna parry him to get him out of the way. And this is gonna be the asylum pretty much done. Considering this is a RTA run, normally we time this in in-game time, we would like quit out on these doors. I'm not gonna do that because it's slower, RTA, but there's gonna be plenty of quit out, so don't worry about it. So right now we've escaped the Undead Asylum, which we were supposed to escape, according to the prophecy. That's a nice black screen right here. That was very concerning. So I'm playing on a laptop currently, so yeah, but those black screens shouldn't really happen. Anyway, right now we're gonna head over to the Undead Burg, which is like the first location you're supposed to go to. There's a bunch of enemies here, we're just gonna try to ignore them. One cool thing that I'm going here is you see me toggling all the time when I start to sprint. That's because actually the acceleration, like the transformation period, the transfer period between normal speed and sprinting speed, you can speed that up by toggling. That's like very neat technique. I mean, it saves only like 0.4 seconds in like 1 minute of running, but it's something cool to do at least. Alright, so here I'm gonna do some more shots from downtown. That's 1. That's 2. There's an undead merchant there. I snipe him, so there's more shooting. He drops the residence key, which I need. This is a skip, so we jump and we skip. I also do a plunge where I avoid the fall damage, but I'll explain that later. Lower Undead Burg here is kind of tricky. There's a lot of enemies, so I'm gonna abuse the quit out, because every time you quit out, the enemies get put to their default position, so I can reset their aggro that way. Kick this guy, politely ask him out of the way. Pick up Mailbreaker, another very important item. It's a weak-ass weapon, but it's gonna be very important for a glitch throughout the entire run. Alright, hopefully this guy gets out of the way. He did. There's more dogs. These dogs can be quite annoying, just like in every Dark Souls game, dogs are. That's very OP. I also got wrecked by a dagger to my back and a dog. Another quit outs, because this would be Monka S. if we didn't quit out. So the residence key I got from the merchant that I sniped, I will use to open these doors. Hopefully not die in the process. And the next door, well, not the next doors, but the doors after that I opened will also be opened with the residence key, and that will allow me to get the gold pine resin. Now the gold pine resin is very important for the next boss and for a tail cut later on, because the short sword that I have is not a very powerful weapon, but the next boss is gonna be weak to lightning. That's pretty cool. Right, this guy opens the door for me. It's very polite. So I'm gonna move him out of the way again. These are the second doors. Used residence key, and now we're gonna pick up the gold pine resin. Now some parkour as well. You never thought you'd see that. Boom. It's basically Mirror's Edge. It's like a shooter, and it has certain elements from Mirror's Edge. I would go as far as to say that. Now you think I'm memeing, but late game is a lot about parkour. There's gonna be some really cool skips we're gonna be doing that are based on parkour. I have the gold pine resin right now. I'm gonna use a strat here when I'm gonna open while one-handing, and then I'm gonna switch to two-handing later. That's gonna allow me to stagger him correctly so I can finish him with a combo. If I just did it two-handed, he would stagger too early, and I wouldn't be able to finish him with a 4-hit combo like this. His attack's gonna be straightable, so that's pretty easy. Yeah, this one is pretty polite. I'm quite the gentleman, so I only play games for gentlemen as well. Right, now we're gonna finally do some real shooting ourselves. You can see me preparing the bow. I'm gonna use the humanity here to heal up, and you know, I'm waiting for this fire to disappear anyway. I'm gonna run up. First there's a shooter there, but I don't care about him. I shoot the Hellkite, insane. I aggro him that way, he goes down, and then I'm gonna cut his tail 3 times, and I get the Drake sword. That's a very important sword, because the main weapon for this round is the Black Knight Greatsword that I'm about to get here. But I don't have the stats yet to use it. One thing to note is that this next drop is also 1 in 4 chance, but I'm using a special software to get the drop if it doesn't drop legit, so I can do this run. Parry him, riposte. I'm gonna order some menuing here. That's because the menus in this game are kind of scuffed. But thanks to the fact that they're scuffed, we can do a lot of glitches, so that's kind of cool. Okay, we got the shield. That's fantastic. So drop rate on the sword, which is what I want, is 26%. Drop rate on the shield is 8%, so we are insanely lucky, guys. Blessed with the marathon luck already. Hashtag blessed. Hashtag I appreciate life. Okay, so the software actually removes the shield as well, so it's like if we got a sword, basically. Now, coming up is something that's gonna be really scary. There's gonna be a lot of enemies in the next room. I'm gonna take it a little bit easier. I'm gonna activate the shortcut, which I need for later, and I'm gonna heal and quit out. Back up. And now, Hollow Room is the thing that's coming up. First, it's a fucking Boulder Knight. I hope I can swear in this marathon. Hope I'll not get banned. And there's a lot of enemies, like I said, so hopefully I don't get wrecked. Okay, that's cool. That's cool. Okay, that was way too easy. That made it seem like that was no big deal. Okay, so here I use the move swap. I'm gonna explain the move swap later on, because it's a little bit more complicated. I don't want to do it while I'm fighting, and there's some more tech I'm gonna be explaining. So I'm gonna explain it when there's more time to it. This is the 3rd boss fight. There's a lot of RNG in it. Depends on what opener we get. Okay, I missed, but that should be okay if I play it somewhat safe. But plot twist, there's a 2nd boss. Okay, that was not super smooth, but I also got scuffed RNG. That's okay. So we got a halberd here. That's cool. That weapon sucks. We already have the weapons that we need. I'm gonna take this insane ladder. What a thrill, you could say. I'm gonna set up my cursor. You probably cannot see the cursor on the screen. I have it disabled. But I'm setting up my cursor to a position where I'm gonna be able to abuse the shittiness of this port. And basically, I'm gonna be able to buy an item that I'm not able to afford normally. And that's really cool, because I need that item, and I need it fast. I'm also gonna dupe this Homeward Bone. Homeward Bone takes you to your last bonfire, which is like your last checkpoint that you had. The dupe I'm also gonna explain a little bit later. It's more important now to explain what I'm gonna do. But first I'm gonna level up some stats. And then I'm gonna go to Griggs, the guy who we just saved. And because he's my good friend, I'm gonna scam the crap out of him. So first I tell him that I'm smart so he can sell me things. And then I'm gonna buy full control, buy the catalyst, and then buy a ring that costs 20,000 for like 200 or something. So what happens there is the cursor, I place it on the little arrow that you can click in the menu that switches the category tab. And then I press purchase and switch tab on my mouse at the same time, and it's gonna take over basically from the one window where I can purchase the item. I have enough souls to purchase it. It's gonna transfer the purchase prompts to the other category, and I can purchase an item I cannot afford. It's really neat. It really helps in this route. So it's a ring that's gonna extend the duration of my buffs, and that's gonna come in really handy later on. Now I'm getting chased by an enemy that I want to get rid of, so I'm gonna quit out. I'm also gonna drink a little bit because I'm starting to run out of voice. Drink water, stay hydrated, don't forget. Okay, so this is one of the biggest skips in the game already. I need this holo for it. So it's cool that he's coming in quickly. I'm gonna parry him, and then I'm gonna riposte on this side. And then you notice this insane helicopter camera happening, right? So this is basically GTA 2 right now, with tank controls as well. Except what's cool about this is that every time this death cam is activated, nothing loads or deloads. I should also explain what death cam is first, probably. So death cam is a camera that gets triggered if you like fall off of a platform or something, and the game wants to be insanely cinematic. Right, so it gives you this camera first. So there's two planes that you can hit. That's the death cam, and there's the kill box. I hit the death cam plane this way through the wall. I forced my character through the wall, hit this. While this is active, the game expects you to die, so what they did is they don't load or deload anything. And that way, I can actually run into Sun's Fortress because the gate loads later than the area. So the start of this area is loaded, but I just ran through that gate that's right there. It wasn't there, but now it is. So it's a massive skip. It allows us to get in here without ringing both the bells. The bell that I rang after gargoyles, you have to ring 2 of them to open this gate, but you don't really have to if you just run through it. So that's a really big game changer. Another thing that I did that I didn't explain yet is the bone dupe. So basically in this game, what's really cool is that you can queue up actions and then like open up menu, and the queue up is gonna stay there basically. Bye snack, by the way. So what I do is I queue up using the homeward bone, but then before the game, while I'm stuck in an action, but before the game executes it, I drink from an Estus, which is like the healing item that you can see in the bottom left corner. But I drink from the menu, and what happens then is I get the prompt, the confirmation prompt, for if I want to use the homeward bone or not, which is stored. And then when I press yes, it's gonna use the bone, but it's gonna consume an Estus charge instead of consuming the bone. And that goes for like soul items as well, which are items that you get from certain bosses, and you can use them and then get souls as in currency. And for currency, on the bottom right, you can level up and purchase items and stuff like that. These cycles are also consistent, by the way, so if you quit out correctly, it depends on where you quit out. Because once you quit out, the cycles will always be consistent. Okay, so now to explain Musop, which is like the most important glitch of this run, honestly. Also, I should point out this is Prepare to Die edition, not Remaster. Remaster freaking sucks. So Musop is basically doing something with the menu that I just mentioned. It looks like this. I'm gonna show it off first. This is how Musop looks like. And what happens there is the only weapon in this game that you can two-hand in your left hand is the bow. So what I do is I queue up two-handing the bow while I'm stuck in an action. That's a jump, okay? And in that jump, I queue up two-handing the bow, and before the game executes it, I swap out the bow for the weapon that I want to use, that I want to deal damage with, which is the Drake Sword for now. So because after that, the game executes two-handing in the left hand, but I already swapped out the weapons, it two-hands the Drake Sword in the left hand. And the thing is that the bow doesn't have any sort of information for your running, rolling, and plunging attacks. So this is Iron Golem. He skips leg day a lot, so we can abuse that. And because the bow doesn't have information. Cool. The bow doesn't have information for those attacks. It's gonna take the info from the right hand, which is the Mailbreaker, and the Mailbreaker's moveset is this. This is the running attack. See? And that's the same running attack I just used on the Drake Sword. Now, you might think, well, it's not that special, Kata. Well, it is, because this running attack actually attacks in 2 ticks. And because I do it with the left-hand weapon, which is the Drake Sword, I do basically double damage. I do normal damage on each of those ticks, so it's double damage. It's very cool. But yeah, Iron Golem got wrecked. That's just classic. I used some setup there to angle him correctly and make him fall off. I'm gonna sit down here, level up some strength. I level up this strength so I can use the Black Knight Greatsword, which we got from the Black Knight. So now, important thing, fall control. This is why I bought the catalyst and fall control. It's a spell that normally just prevents damage that wouldn't kill you from falling, like something that will not kill you from 100%. It will just prevent anything, any kind of fall damage like that. But it can be heavily abused because each time you get lethal fall damage like this, it delays the damage the game deals to you. So I can hit the ground, it stores my position on the bottom, I quit out, and that way I can survive any fall in the game, basically. I hope that sort of makes sense. But all in all, it's just a spell that we can heavily abuse. So I'm menuing on the ladder. You've noticed I do most of my menuing when I'm stuck in like fog gates or on ladders or something, so that I don't actually lose time. Unlike in DS3, you cannot sprint while menuing in this game. Okay, that was just a preemptive jump in case you wanted to be finicky. Yeah, rafters are done, that's good. And coming up is another skip that's going to be abusing the death cam, but this one is a little bit different because the death cam is a little bit different, and I need the fall control for it, and I need the ring for it. So first I'm gonna turn this lever so I can turn this whole staircase so I can run up on it later on. Then I'm gonna quit out because this is not a stable platform, it's an elevator. It's gonna put me back to my last stable position, which is right here, right before the elevator. The elevator's now down. I'm gonna cast fall control. And again, I'm gonna hit a slope with my plunge attack. I'm gonna fall through a death cam. But this one is different because this death cam, what it does, also frames are gonna die because it's a laptop. This death cam tries to kill you every single frame now because the death cam is programmed in such a way that as soon as you hit the ground, it kills you. It's not 2 planes, it's just a death cam, and then as soon as you hit the ground, it kills you. So now just we turn into Sonic because fall control prevents it, and the game's really stubborn, so it's trying to kill me every single frame. Okay, but thanks to fall control, it doesn't. It can't. The problem is that I need to use this death cam to skip a shortcut. Again, the doors are not loaded because it's an asset to an area. But without the ring that increases the duration of this buff of fall control, I would not be able to make it through this door. This door right here, this door that normally is there. It's not now. So I just ran through shortcut and I'm gonna get to Giant Blacksmith. Okay, Giant Blacksmith is our friend, so we're gonna scam him again, because that's what we do. But we're not gonna tell him about it because we're polite. So I'm gonna use a glitch here that I will probably explain a little bit later on, because it's like kind of silly, but I can basically buy more Twinkling Titanite than I can afford again. And Twinkling Titanite is the weapon, the item that we can upgrade the Black Knight Greatsword with, which is the, you know, the #1 weapon for this run. So I just upgraded it to +5 very early into the game, and +5 is the maxed upgrade level for this. I'm gonna heal up, just to be safe, because the next boss fight might be one of the hardest boss fights in the game, in the run. And as you have noticed, I haven't taken a bonfire in quite a while, so if I die, it will be a big problem. We'll lose a lot of time. So hopefully I will not die. Of course, you can dodge attacks by rolling. I think you kind of understood that by now. You get iframes as you roll. Pretty important. Okay, we got the worst opener, so hopefully we will not get some terrible follow-ups. Okay, we're getting a terrible follow-up. I'm not dead somehow. Okay. This is scary. I'm gonna heal up. I'm just like, I'm gonna play it as safe as possible. Nice, I'm gonna get hit again. And he's still alive. That's very cool. Okay, he's finally dead. So that's phase 1. That was terrible. That was so bad, but let's not worry about it. Phase 2 should be much easier. I can stagger lock this guy. Hopefully. He can jump away where he has iframes, which would be pretty bad, but it seems like he's dead. Okay, that was really scary, and I peached out a lot. I played super safe, but it's better than dying, trust me. Stagger lock? Yeah, I meant to say stun lock, I'm sorry. Okay, so here's doors, and there's tits. I'm gonna zoom in, and there's more shooting. Right in the middle, very cool. So this is Guinevere. It's an illusion. Basically, she gives you a pretty important item, the Lord Vessel. It's a quest item, like it's a mandatory item. I don't want a level 18 there. And it allows you to warp between both files. So now I can warp between the checkpoints. Now, because Griggs is still my good friend, I'm gonna come back and I'm gonna do the same thing I did to him before, which is scamming. I'm gonna get here, I'm gonna use the same prom swap glitch. I'm gonna buy the heavy soul arrow and then do prom swap, and for 500 souls, well, a little bit more, but for roughly 500 souls, I buy a 20k item. Very cool. Now, the reason I shoot Guinevere is because it's faster than just like talking to her. You can either talk to her, or you can shoot her. So we shoot her. I'm gonna use the soul of Smo, which is the big guy who we killed, to get 12,000 currency. As you can see, I'm gonna need it a little bit later on. And now we're gonna head back to under the asylum where we came from, but we're gonna pretend that we are Neg, which is pretty cool. We're also gonna wait. Now, the reason I need to go back to here and kill Stray Demon is because there's a doll behind him, another like quest item, key item I should say, and that's gonna allow us to enter the painting. Now, painting is optional. It has a boss, so we're gonna have to go there anyway, but there's an item there that I'm gonna use for a pretty massive glitch to get the red tearstone ring later on, which I'll talk about a little bit later. More moose swapping while waiting for these torch hollows to flip off. These torch hollows do like insane damage. They also jump really far. They're Olympic jumpers. Olympians of Lord 1. So this boss is pretty beefy, but +5 kind of melts him. But as you can see, he's beefier than Smo was. Smo is 4 running attacks. This guy is like 5 or something. I don't know. I think it's 4.5. Yeah, that's 3. That's 4. And that's 5. That was a good fight. He gave us good RNG. Like, he only gave me the fly up when I couldn't really attack anyway. That's like the attack that you normally cannot punish. Okay, here's a Black Knight. We're gonna kill him because he's annoying. This gets in the way. And this is the doll. And then right after that, we're just gonna dupe the bone again and get to our last bonfire. Good question, Rai. I really wonder. Okay, so now everything is dark because we killed Guinevere's illusion. So like the illusion that was cast on Analondo, that it's sunny and stuff, it's actually dark like this. It's more like winter. It's dark outside my window right now, so this is realistic. I'm gonna abuse the same fall control quit out here. And head to the painting. I'm gonna abuse another fall control quit out to do it. There's the same jump here to go to the rafters, but this time I'm gonna cast Fall Control. Painting Guardians are still guarding it. Not very well, because I could just enter it. Nice dagger. Okay, I'm gonna have to heal. That's just unlucky. Another Fall Control quit out. And this time we can get to the Painting Guardians down here and to the painting. That's the main thing. So this massive giant painting. So the interesting part about this is that this was actually the prototype level they made. And Miyazaki, who's an absolute genius, Lamu, he really liked the level, so he's like, frick, we need to put it into the game. Probably said ay 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 as well because he's Japanese and weeb. But that's besides the point. So yeah, they just put it in as a painting like this. It really doesn't fit into the game at all, but it's here. And there will be a nice skip here that really tells you that this was the prototype level. Because they didn't pay attention to some of the collision that they introduced. So I'm gonna fall control first so I don't take damage on the next fall. Then I'm gonna heal just to make sure that we don't die. And then here are these crows. I'm gonna dodge them. And I'm gonna pick up the red sign soapstone. This soapstone is actually an online item for online play. But obviously I'm playing offline. I have to be for a legit speedrun. But I'm gonna use it in just a moment for something very, very important. But first, this is the skip I was talking about. You can just walk on air here. Excuse me, thank you. Now, these archers can be a little bit annoying. I'm not gonna kill them because I wouldn't kill them with this small ass weapon. But I'm gonna have to go ahead and dodge their arrows. Should be fine. Hopefully I can sort of hear when they shoot him. And we're gonna kill the waifu, which a lot of people hate me for, but that's okay. It's a boss. I have to do it. And more shooting, by the way. Look, boom. Moose up again. See where she spawns. I can see the arrow. I cannot see her, but I can see the arrow.
Why does?
It's pretty easy fights. Bad spawn. She spawned away from the exit. But we killed her and now we can exit, so that's cool. Okay, now we're gonna head to Gwendolyn. That's another boss, pure RNG boss. But this is the best time to go and kill him because he's close. And you can only access him if Analondo is dark like this. Yeah, I swear I pet the tail before I killed her. That's actually the real way to win this game, win at this game. You have to pat. Pet Priscilla's tail. Can I equip the soul? Because I'm gonna have to use it. So get more menuing while I don't lose any time. Now this spinning staircase is weird as hell. So yeah, it just pops you mid-air sometimes. Like there's some pathing that I tried to do, but I clearly messed it up there. There's a bonfire here. We don't need this one. And like I said, this boss is pure RNG, so I'm just gonna wait for the correct attack. He has 3 different attacks. One of them is like an orb. One of them is homing soul mass, so that's a bunch of small orbs. And one of them is a bunch of arrows. So he shoots as well. What a nice lad. And the arrows are the only ones that I can actually kill him from, because I need to kill him in 2 hits to one-cycle him. Here come the arrows, but I cannot approach him now. I'll have to wait for another. Okay, there you go. So only after the arrows he can actually get staggered. So I can do 2 running attacks in a row. So you see he gets staggered, and then I can do another running attack before he teleports. This time I'm just gonna pop the bone instead of having to dupe it. Now this bonfire, oh, it's not really that important. Let's not talk about that. I'm gonna level up some stats. I'm gonna teleport to the parish, do some more menuing, and now glitching starts. So first I'm gonna do quantity storage to buy 999 pikes, except it's just 1 pike, but it's very dense. Now the reason I need that is to be crammed, which is a leftover mechanic from Demon Souls, where you can basically reach the limits of your inventory, which in Demon Souls is just a normal mechanic. And in Dark Souls, it's like an insanely high number. It's 10,000 weight units, which you will never get casually. So what I did there is I bought 999 arrows, then I pretended that I'm gonna drop them. The game remembers the number 999, okay. And then I take that menu to the merchant's menu. And then basically when I buy the pike, it takes the 999 number and it buys 1 pike that weighs 999 pikes. Each pike weighs fuck, I can't speak. Each pike weighs 1,000 weight units, so that gets me to 1,000. Right? No. 100. No, 10. Oh my god, nice brain. Let's ignore that. I was so confused. It's kind of hard when you're trying to look for words and then do maths, okay? 10 units, and then obviously I buy 99 of them, so I'm almost crammed, but with the items that I already have, I am crammed. Now, when you are in this crammed state, for some reason, if you try to unequip your ring that you have equipped, you will get a dialogue. Now, that dialogue is a leftover from Demon Souls, where you had a ring of Herculean strength, and that ring enabled you to carry more items. And if you try to unequip it, and it would put you to a state where you have too many things in your inventory, it would give you this dialogue that you cannot unequip it. But for some reason, this dialogue here is... the dialogue here is here as well. So what I can do is I can unequip it. It gives me nice. That was not what was supposed to happen. There you go, that's the rest. There's the fucking RTSR. So what that allows me to do, it glitches out the menu completely when I confirm that dialogue. Question mark, dialogue, question mark. And what it allows me to do, it allows me to equip items of one kind to a different slot. So I just equipped the red sign soapstone that I picked up in the painted world, the PvP item, into my ring slot. And because when you equip it into the ring slot, the only thing that the game checks is the item number, not the type. It sees, oh, it shares the same ID number as the red tearstone ring, so let's give it the same effect. So right now, I have a ring that I never picked up. And this ring is really good, because each time I'm under 20% HP, like right now, you can see on the top left, there's the, you know, big purple crystal, and my character is also like flashing, not flashing, but you can see it's lit up with something between white and red. That means I'm dealing double damage, basically. It's not how it was supposed to work, but they messed up some calculations, just like I did a couple minutes ago, and yeah, I'm basically dealing double damage now that when I'm under 20% HP. Now, if I ever unequip the ring or equip the red sign soapstone, I'm gonna lose that effect. So I have to go ahead and I would have to go ahead and do the glitch again. Here I killed Hydra. That's not a boss, but it's required to kill it and talk to this lass. Very cute. To get into the DLC, right? Miyazaki thought that was a good idea to sell people a DLC and then have them not even find it. So it's quite complicated to get into the DLC, but it has 4 bosses, so we need to get there. Now I'm gonna head over to Sif, and again, I'm gonna set up RTSR. I'm gonna take damage on purpose from Consistent Night, actually good RNG. And the upcoming drop damage is gonna put me into RTSR range below 20%. So now basically I have the Black Knight Greatsword +5, which is a powerful weapon with a shitty moveset. But I have move swap, so the moveset is irrelevant. Plus it deals double damage if used correctly, and I have double damage from RTSR. So I pack a serious punch right now. Now Sif is another one of those bosses that can be a little bit random, but if I get good RNG, it's gonna be really fast. So it's gonna depend. More menuing to be done. I have to equip the Soul of Dwindling. I'm gonna use it later on. Unequip the fire bombs. Obviously there was more throwing with shooting. We're shooting fire bombs at Hydra. Forgot to mention that, of course. But yeah, there's a sword here. It's very cool, but Sif will use it and try to kill us. Go hack him. Okay, no follow-up. But I did get a counter hit. Okay, it should be roll attack into running attack, and it's dead. Okay, that's good. Use the bone again. Notice I'm not duping the bone where it would actually lose me time. Like I only dupe the bone when I do it off of some action I'm already doing, or if I'm waiting for the boss to die. You also saw me wait after that. That's because, like I said, you need at least 1 stamina point to perform any action. Except for like moving or whatever, but I cannot bone out if I have 0 stamina, so I have to wait for the stamina to recharge. That's one thing I didn't mention with the move swap. It still uses the stamina from an attack of the BKGS, right? So because it attacks in 2 ticks, I basically lose all of my stamina if I do a running attack, and I cannot roll for a little bit after that, because like I said, no stamina, you cannot do anything. which means I cannot dodge any attacks after my running attack, which means that I'm putting myself at risk constantly, considering I'm one-hit kill, and sometimes I cannot roll. So every time I attack, I need to know exactly when I can do it, or how I can strafe the upcoming attack that could happen. This game, honestly, like, it's got some really cool technical stuff. Not much of it is insanely hard. Like, move swap is sort of difficult, but it's like a fighting game combo. You will learn it eventually. It's not too bad, and then you will be consistent. So, but the skill is in the knowledge, in all of the stuff that can happen in the fights. Okay, so I'm heading to 4 Kings now. This is completely normal. We can swim. This is the undead way of swimming. This is the seal skip. Again, I just abused the fall control quit out to get past a certain area where normally I would die. I'm gonna drop into the abyss. This is where the devs ran out of financial stuff, because this arena is just black. I'm gonna moose up. I'm gonna dupe the bow, the soul before the king spawns. And now this is called 4 Kings, right? But I'm actually only gonna fight 2. That's because this king fights, they have cumulative health bar. But at the same time, they also have a single health bar, and you can attack them after they're dead. So I just killed the first king, okay? But while he's dying, I can still attack him and deal damage to the cumulative health bar. So as you can see, I killed the first king, and already it's under 50% here. You can indeed get even the fight in 1 king, but not in this run, unfortunately. This is perfectly set up. Boom, he's dead. Very cool. Okay, so now this is important. If I say no, the run is dead, so I don't want to do that. This is Kath. He's a big giant snake. Real cutie if you ask me. I'm gonna say yes. He's gonna take me to Firelink Altar. Behind this wall, that's right here. That's where the final boss is, okay? And we have to place the Lord Vessel that we got from Guinevere right here. And then basically the premise of the game is to kill these important bosses that have like Lord Souls or parts of it. And then you put that into the Lord Vessel, and that's gonna open the kill. Open the final area where you can go and kill the final boss. I hope I'm not skipping too many things. I hope this run kind of makes sense to you guys. So now we're heading to Analondo. This bonfire we never actually sat at. Well, technically we did already once, but before that we never did, and we still had it available. That's because for some reason when you exit the painted world, the game will by default get you this bonfire. It will set it to your last bonfire for some reason. Yo, what's up, boys? Thanks for the raid. So now we're heading to the Duke's Archives. This is one of the areas where one of the big bosses resides. It's Seath. He's a wanker, but we have to kill him because it's all bosses. There's a board, but you can roll through it because iframes are pretty good. Here's another board, but they say pigs are smart, but yeah. Uh-oh, made him angry. Okay, out of this roll again, I'm gonna dupe a soul, just so I get more currency. I'm gonna need it for some stats. I'm gonna moose up. And now I'm gonna kill this blue golem. And the reason I do that is because he's gonna drop the broken pendant. The broken pendant is an item I need to access the DLC. He doesn't drop the broken pendant until you free Dusk and tell her that you will help. Just to show you how stupidly complicated it is to get to the DLC. I'm gonna ignore these enemies because they're no bosses. I think that's pretty fair. And we're gonna do one of the bigger skips again in this game, which is parkour. I already told you that this is sort of mirror stage. And this skip is gonna save like 5 minutes. It looks very silly. Well, it doesn't look very silly, but it looks very simple. But it skips like a whole prison section where you have to free yourself and climb up, and there's a bunch of stuff. But what I can do is I can send this elevator down and then use the elevator to do some fancy stuff. So I'm gonna roll off like this while it's going down, and now I just skip to the part that's after the prison that you're not supposed to be at yet. And now we just saved 5 minutes because llama, why not? So there's a channeler. He shoots as well. Forgot to mention, but he's got an aim, so it's fine. Now I say that, but one time he actually hit me somehow. More fall control without abusing. If there are some Ruskis in the chat, then privet. But if you want to watch this in Russian commentary, you can go over to that restream. My good friend Dan Flesh is commentating it. Dan Flesh is a heckin' memer, so why we go? Might enjoy that more than me. There's so much to talk about in this game that I can barely keep up, honestly. I haven't done a fully commentated run of this route. It's the fastest route for all bosses, by the way. I'm running it currently. I haven't really done a full commentated run of this at a marathon yet. Okay, there's some golems there. We don't really care about that. And we're gonna try to do another full control quit out here. Oh, that was really close. I almost died. So basically, if you slide off that crystal, there's a death box right below it. I probably would have survived if I slid off, now that I think about it. But if you slide off, not from the tip of the crystal, but like from the side a little bit, you definitely hit the hitbox, death box, and there's no way you can quit out in time, unfortunately. So right now, here's some clams. They're a very good friend of Regal's. He likes to get eaten by the clams, quite literally. So I'm gonna do certain pathing because the fog gate in this fight doesn't spawn until the fight starts. And if it's like right here. And if the clams get there behind it in time, they're gonna be in the fight with you. So I tried to do some pathing there to not do it. Also, this is C's like thousands of years of work and I just killed it with one arrow. This is how it looks like when you fail Muswap. So that crystal basically makes him immortal. Let's see what he's doing. I'm just gonna finish him off here. Normally you don't even care about what he's doing. Okay, he's dead. Easy clap. But yeah, he spent like the lore. Okay, lore. So I'm gonna tell you about the lore. So Seath was a dragon who was on the side of the dragons but betrayed them because he was weird as heck and he didn't have scales of immortality. So he betrayed them, and the final boss of this game thus defeated dragons, and then rewarded this guy with access to Duke's archives and the title of Dukedom. And he devoted his life to the search of immortality, and he finally makes this crystal, and he's immortal, and then you just shoot it with one weak-ass arrow, you go in the first area of the game, and then you just murder him. So now I have to go and kill Butterfly. Butterfly is something that Seath made. It takes a while for this fire to start. He needs to get into position. So I'm just gonna use some souls. And this is where I'm gonna use the Great Heavy Soul Arrow. It's the only time that I use this spell, but hey, more shooting. Boom. If arrows count, then surely shooting stuff out of the catalyst counts too. It takes a while for the boss to get into melee range, so like waiting for that would be terrible. So in most routes you will kill him with some sort of magic, or people can also do it with like fire bombs and stuff. So now we're heading to the DLC. The DLC is actually the coolest part of this run. It's got the best bosses, it's got some neat stuff. And it's also like the most random. This is where most runs just, you know, they're made or they get broken. And Gwendolyn, because Gwendolyn was really good in this run, but normally it can cost you a lot of time. So another thing that I'm using right now, you can see my health bar is halved. That's because I'm using the ring that I got from Hydra, the Dusk Crown ring. And that basically halves your HP, but gives you double the amount of cast. You can see the number of the spells. Now it's 14 instead of 7. Sorry, instead of 8, because it gets you to 15. Anyway, point here is this: it halves your HP, and fall damage in this game is total HP percentage based, right? The damage that it deals to you. So what I can do is I can half my HP, get this damage, and then when I unequip this ring, it's gonna be under 20% overall. But if I just took the full damage normally, it wouldn't get me into RTSR range, so I have to use the ring. I already used it before to get to half HP before, but I forgot to mention it. This is Guardian, it's the first boss. We're gonna moose up in this arena, because we're Chad. And now we're gonna try not to die. Okay, it's a 4-hit combo. I'm gonna wait for the 4th hit. I'm gonna hit him really hard. Hopefully he does a follow-up. I circle around him, in front of him, rather, to bait out the same attack that he just did, and then I can just kill him. That's really cool. That was smooth. I'm gonna take this bonfire. It's a peach strat, but like if I die at any point before Artorias or on him, I'm gonna go all the way to Dark Roots, which I don't want to do. So I'm just gonna sit down here. And this is a giant mushroom. And because mushrooms are also friends, we're gonna scam. No, we're not gonna scam her. We're actually gonna do fair business. So we're gonna buy Hidden Body, which is a spell. Unfortunately, Hidden Body doesn't shoot anything, but it makes us not invisible, but basically it decreases the aggro range and the aggro speed of enemies. Sometimes consistently, sometimes less, but it's gonna be really helpful for the DLC because there's a lot of enemies. Speaking of a lot of enemies, I just aggro a bunch of hungry farmers, and I don't want that, okay? So I'm gonna quit out and get rid of them. Nice, I just equipped something and then unequipped it. Very cool. So I'm gonna cast Full Control here. Coming up is there's a shortcut here, but I can actually go through it even though I don't activate it first. And I'm gonna do it in a really Chad way. So I'm gonna bounce Demon's Great Hammer. The only reason I kept this weapon the entire run, I'm gonna bounce it off the wall, and that's gonna allow me to roll midair and survive this fall. Like this. Because that's a lethal fall. That would normally kill me. Here's Chester. He's just chilling. We tell him that we don't care, and then we buy some items. Guess I'm gonna buy some extra fire bombs. And then I'm gonna have to quit out because I did the peach strat and I need to set up RTSR with the next fall. Normally I would still have RTSR here. So this gets me RTSR. Hopefully I don't die to these dogs, which I did earlier today. As you can see, like, again, I'm one hit away from death. I'm going towards Calamite. Calamite is a boss. That's gonna be the last one of the DLC, but the way it works is you're supposed to basically, like, enter his area, enter his arena, rather, and you don't see him, right? Okay, I died to the dog again. Oh my god. Okay, that's the same death I actually had earlier today. That's pretty unlucky. I don't really know why it happened. I even tried going further to the left, like I did, rather than I did when I did runs earlier. That's okay, it's not a big death. It's kinda annoying, but it's not a big death. So just gonna have to run back. The spirit of Dunflesh is with us. Like I said, he's commentating over the Russian stream, so this one's for you, Dunflesh. He likes dying to those dogs. Okay, I'm gonna have to quit out here again. But basically, when you enter Calamite's arena, you're not supposed to like see him, and then he burns you because he's flying in the sky, and then you're supposed to get to an NPC later on, and he's a big Hawkeye, and there's an epic cutscene how he shoots him down, and then you can go and fight him. But first you need to, like I said, trigger, like you need to show the game, hey, I was there, I know that this boss is here. Will I be able to use the shortcut? I think so. No, okay, never mind, Lamo. For some reason I thought I activated it, but that's okay, so I have to take it slow again. And have to abuse the DGH one more time. Switch to this. Let's do this again, hopefully without dying. There's dogs in this game, unlike in the S3, they don't teleport, so that's kind of nice. Okay, one more time to jump. You see me, like, you can enter menuing while in midair for a certain period of time, but if you do it too late, the game doesn't allow you to. So I have specific pathing for this. I really don't know why it failed. It's funny, because when I went to practice this, I got this no problem. But then in the marathon, I still died. I'm gonna go further to the left. Thank you. That's what's supposed to happen. Maybe I'm being too far right. I think that might be it. Like, My pathing for the second dog is quite far right already. Okay, so when you hear the calamite like that, that's because if you don't go there and don't trigger him like this, if you talk to the NPC that's supposed to shoot him down, it's going like, who the hell? Because you're not supposed to know that there's calamite flying in the air. But now you know, apparently. You heard some weird screech and that's immediately, oh hey, that's a dragon that I need to kill later on. So we're gonna head over to Artorias, that's many people's favorite. The fight should be fine, thanks to the BKGS +5 with RTSR and move swap. There's some memes that can happen, hopefully it doesn't, because we would have to run back again. I'm gonna pop Blossom, which is gonna increase my stamina regeneration. It's very important for these DLC fights. So I can attack more often. Okay, that was easy. And now here's a cool out of bounds that I'm gonna try to do. It's pretty difficult. It doesn't save any time RTA, but it's super cool. So I'm gonna jump on this railing and then immediately quit out. My last stable position gets put on the railing, and there's a PvP arena right below me. And I need to enter it to get an item, online item again, that I'm gonna use for a glitch. I'm gonna jump like this. Then prepare a quit out, and boom, I land in the arena and I quit out, so it puts me back on top. It's super cool. It saves like 4 seconds in game time, but RTA, because of these quit outs, it saves nothing. That's okay. Okay, so we got past Artorias. More bonfires. I'm gonna level up attunement, which is gonna allow me to use one more spell. I'm gonna attune hidden body, and I level up intelligence because I want to be smart. Because I'm not very smart, so I need to be smarter. In order to do that, you just sit at a bonfire and then spend some souls. Of course, that's how it works. Imagine using public education when you can just level up at bonfires. Okay, more fall control shenanigans. This stuff you should be used to by now. If not, well, sounds like a you problem. And for the first time, I'm gonna use hidden body here. Obviously, the higher intelligence means that my spells are going to deal more damage. It's pretty important for some of the breaking points and some of the boss fights that are going to be coming up later on when I'm going to finally be shooting stuff. So here, this detour, the only reason I need to go here is to get the crest key to access the tower where the Hawkeye is, go off. So we can shoot down Calamite. I'm going to use the Lloyd's Talisman I bought from Chester before I die to the dogs. This is a mimic. If you open it, it kills you, but you can put it to sleep and then pick up the item. So not only that I'm scamming NPCs, I'm also stealing from them like this. More hidden body, because like I said, there's plenty of enemies here. Most of this stuff will just one-shot me. Especially if I get a counter hit, which is basically like when I'm sprinting or if I'm like right after a roll or something, the enemies will deal extra damage to you. And that's a one-shot. Okay, I didn't get any scary attacks. Easy clap. Oh, I just casted my last hidden body. That's very smart. That's totally what I wanted to do. Okay, well, I'm gonna have to take this bonfire here. That's fine. Not a big problem. Kinda sucks, but as you can see, like I said, the spellcasts in this game are limited. How do I actually set up a TSR? Nah, I know, it's fine. So I have to take this bonfire to renew my hidden body cast. Because there's so many enemies here, I definitely need to use hidden body. Because I have the DCR, I'm gonna have to use it twice. That's no problem. Just a mistake that I made. I wanted to cast fall control there so I could do another fall control quit out. The reason I quit out for that elevator is not only because it's coming up, so it's faster to just put it up immediately, but there's an enemy on the elevator, and if I quit out the enemy despawns. Okay, so here's Darkbead, another very important item. Get away from that guy, because wombo combo is not very nice. Another hidden body. As you can see, there is a lot of enemies here, but these are fine. The problem is that there's a sorceress there, the one that I just killed, a similar type of enemy that could just easily snipe me here. jump over this gap to Mooslop. And now I'm gonna do another cool little skip that saves a little bit of time, and I'm gonna enter Manus's arena from out of bounds, basically. This gives me RTSR, that drop. And then we just jump in like this. My hidden body still, yeah, my hidden body lasted very long, so I couldn't pop the Blossom. Because you cannot have two body buffs at the same time, but it's okay, I got a shitty open anyway. Oh, that's cool. I could die here after punishing this. But I didn't. Okay, it's fine. Another one. This is interesting. Okay. What? I am a fucking legend, dude. If anyone can tell me how I dodged that, then that was the most scuffed ass fight I've seen in a while. And then I strafed an attack I didn't know I could strafe like that. That was very cool. Hey, it's fine, guys. It was all calculated. So basically, this guy will start doing magic attacks after you deal 40% of his health in damage to him. But the thing is that I messed up when I punished the second big wombo combo, and I only got one half of my Mooslop in, and so he didn't transfer into a magic attack, but he did a normal melee attack still, because he wasn't below 60%. So that's why that happened, and obviously I had no stamina because it was right after my running attack, which even with the Blossom means that you still cannot roll immediately after you attack for a while. But, being the good gamer I am, I immediately strafed it, and yeah, I totally wasn't Monka Mega there. Anyway, this is Goff. He's super cool. But we gotta go fast. We're not gonna watch the cutscene, unfortunately. I don't know how he got up here. We basically tell him that we need him to shoot down Calamite. He shoots him down. Then we teleport back. I had to sit down at his bonfire, which is an extra rest, because I took the bonfire before Manus. Which normally I wouldn't take, but that's okay. So now Calamite is shot down. Goff is doing shooting as well. What a nice lad. And we're gonna head over to Calamite. This time we're at least not in RTSR range yet, so the dogs cannot kill me. It's actually pretty easy to like dodge the dogs. The problem is that you have to initially go there and then back. That's why you want to kill them. Calamite is like, it's very random. There's a lot of stuff that he can do, and unlike Manus, who even though I just had a very scuffed fight, his AI is like pretty good, and the fight is fair, and it's like my favorite fight probably. Calamite is like the opposite. He's got a lot of attacks as well, but his AI is completely scuffed. He will do like long range attacks when he's facing into a wall, so he's gonna do long range attack, you cannot really dodge and stuff like that. Again, we're gonna use the Blossom. As you can see, I still have 2 left. I'm gonna use one later on, hopefully. I'm also not using Homeward Bones anymore. I'm just using the Dark Sign, which does the same thing but loses all of your souls. But we don't need the souls, the currency anymore. We've done all the leveling up we need. That's a good opener. Let's see what happens after. Okay, that was really good. Why do I not get this shit in my runs? So he's dead. Again, I'm just gonna use the Dark Sign as he's dying. If you teleport too early and you don't see the victory achieved screen, the boss is not dead, by the way. So if you teleport too early by accident, yeah, you gotta fight him again. Okay, my menuing is gonna be a little bit different now because I have the extra bonfire there. I have to pay attention to it. So now we're gonna do a wrong ward, which is super cool. So the item, the purple couch crystal that you see in the bottom right, that's the item I got from the PvP arena, where I did like the weird out of bounds. So I can do a wrong warp right now. Let me try to do it first and I'll explain. It's frame perfect, by the way, so yeah, okay, third try. That's kind of crap, but it's okay. So the way this works is that when you use the purple cow's crystal when you're in the DLC, it's gonna teleport you to the arena. It's gonna start teleporting you to the arena. But if you use Dark Sign or a bone or something to go to your last bonfire, the game gets very confused. That's how we explain it. You trick the game into being confused. And it teleports you to the default position in the area of your last bonfire, which here is in Capra. Also, this is Darkbeat. Welcome to Darkbeat. Now we're gonna be shooting stuff. So that was Capra, and he's dead, by the way. I quit out just as he dies, so I spawn outside of the arena. I don't have to deal with these pesky dogs, because as we've seen, dogs are pretty bad. Now the problem, the real reason that wrong warp is hard is because, like I said, it's frame perfect. Why? Because you're not supposed to use the item because you're not online. You're not playing online. Also, most complicated out of bounds right here. Just walk and then quit out and you're out of bounds. So basically, what I do is I queue up using the item, and then as I fall down, on the first frame, I use a consumable. You saw it drank the Estus, but it actually uses the stored up action, which is the purple Chaos Crystal. And it starts teleporting me to the PvP arena, and as it does that, I just use the dark side and it wrong warps me. We're gonna see it again. The out of bounds here is really cool. There's basically a transition. Here's more parkour to get into this arena. And more shooting to be done. Shots fired. All of the shots. We have a shotgun basically. Look, there's a bunch of projectiles. It's literally a shotgun. Decent damage too. So the out of bounds, the way it works is there's a transition between two different areas. And if you quit out right at that transition, one of the areas loads a little bit later than the other. And so that way you just clip out of bounds. Yeah, I wanted to see the sewers. I'm sorry, man. I'm sorry that I scammed you off of this amazing experience. So now the rest of this run is basically use Darkbeat, the shotgun, to murder the remaining bosses that are there. Also, there's someone sleeping. Thanks. Much disrespect. Like, I know I'm boring, but I think I was this boring. So now we're gonna head to Nito. This is a really, really long run, unfortunately, but again, he's one of the Lord bosses. You have to kill him even in a casual playthrough. Basically, the way it works is that Gwyn, when he went to the final area and basically sealed himself there, he split his own soul and gave it to a bunch of lads. And now we have to murder the bunch of lads to be able to get to Gwyn. There's some enemies here. Again, like all of these enemies pretty much, they can do different things and I have to be ready to react to whatever they're doing. Here's a necromancer. Well, I was gonna say he has NA aim, but he fucking wrecked me. I'm gonna quit out, not just to skip the pulling this lever, but also to de-aggro the enemies. Gonna have to heal, which kind of sucks. But it's okay. Again, we're gonna abuse fall control, but first I'm gonna heal. Hopefully I don't crash here. The game can sometimes crash here, hopefully it doesn't. Because that would be big time loss RTA. Okay, it didn't. That's cool. So here's bone wheels. These bone wheels can be quite tricky. Because if the bone wheel gets stuck on you, there's two things you can do about it, how I like to say, and there's absolutely nothing or like it. Because they get stuck on you and then they just drain your health bar. It doesn't matter how much health you have, they'll just murder you. And I definitely don't like him. I definitely don't like it happening. So instead, I just try to avoid it. So that was Pinwheel. I hope you enjoyed him. Another really cool boss. I'm sure, if you got to see anything from him. I might have to heal one more time, because I healed only once. I don't think I actually have enough HP to do the proper RTSR setup for Nito. There's more parkour here. Hope you enjoy. So, one cool jump here that skips some pathing. Another cool jump here. Roll off. There's gonna be patches here, but we kinda ignore this lad. Hello, goodbye. Some cool pathing. And then this fog gate skip. You either go into the fog gate or you can jump along it. Like this, to this lower platform. Pretty cool stuff. Like, I make it look easy. But honestly, just walking straight in this game is already a skill. Like, I'm not trying to hype myself up or anything. Every good runner can do these things. Okay, I'm fine with the health. That's good. Every good runner can do these things, but I'm telling you, man, like, if you turn up the game for the first time, it will be difficult for you to walk straight unless you're using the keyboard and just pressing W. because this game is insanely sensitive control, so some of this parkour can be quite tricky before you get it down, before you get the movement down. So you wouldn't really think that a game like Dark Souls can be a shooter, which clearly it is. Look at this guy with his big ass arrow and bow, and B, that it's gonna be a freaking platformer. Here's some attacks that I have to dodge from more pinwheels, but these ones are small. They're just as useless though. Actually, they have a higher chance of killing you than the real pinwheel. And a ring swap just to make sure I get RTSR from this next fall. I'm gonna cast it in body. It doesn't react on bosses, it doesn't work on bosses, but this boss has some minions. And it's gonna work on them. He's doing a scream. I have to roll that one. I'm gonna kill the 3 skeletons here. I only killed 2. Okay, that, like, what am I doing? The way I decided to do this was very concerning. This is what happens in marathons where you get too stressed about things. I was thinking that the skeleton on the left could attack me as I'm killing Nito. And so I wanted to like play it safe, and then I was like, well, but Nito's gonna hit me if I'm this far. But yeah, in the end it happens the way it should have, and he just died. So yeah, this definitely happens to runners in marathons, that they try to play things too safe that normally they wouldn't in a run, and they die because of it. Okay, coming up next is a little bit of Ocarina of Time or something. So we're gonna use the bow to set up an insane skip. It's really freaking cool, and it really reminds me of some setups in games like Zelda. So first I aim there, then I do certain inputs to get on the elevator, walk into this very specific corner for a certain amount of time. I'm gonna use the bow again to aim to a certain place, and then I'm gonna do 3 dagger parries and then quit out. So right now I should be standing in an area transition, and my last stable position on top of the elevator should be so that I clipped out of bounds on the left side of the elevator, and I land slope quit out on a platform that's right next to it. But wait, there's more. So now I'm somewhere out of bounds. That doesn't really tell you much. I'm gonna have to do a full control quit out to get on a lower platform. And then there's a 1 pixel wide wall here that I'm gonna have to walk on to get to the place where I can fall through the ground to get to the Quilax domain, completely skipping Blighttown. Ah, I didn't quit out in time. God damn it. Okay, I haven't failed this in a long while. Falling on the left side is really bad. Yeah, I'm gonna have to do it again. That's a pretty big time loss. But it's okay, at least you get to see the setup one more time. Because on the left side, there's just void there. There's nothing there. So if you fall on the left, you can just quit out in time, no problem. I don't know how I did that, but first I need to send up the elevator. In the meanwhile, I can at least set it up again. You can zoom, so you zoom in and then you aim the left bottom side of the crosshair to that little dot. Then it's 4 back steps to get over the button, activate the elevator, and then an R2 to get back on the elevator. Now the reason I want to be in this specific corner is so that dagger parries put me into the area transition, and here we just aim to that leaf there. Damn, that's unfortunate. The transition clip out just is the same thing, but yeah, what works is just geometry. And the reason you survive this fall is because you hit a slope, and slopes, basically slopes in this game, if you hit a slope, the #1 priority of the game is to get you to the bottom of the slope, and that goes even over dealing damage to you. So you get to the bottom of the slope, you don't get damage yet, and you can quit out just in time so that you can survive the fall. It's kind of like a full control quit out, but without the full control. Okay, let's try this again. Really? Okay, let me one more time. God damn it. Oh my god. Oh, the marathon nerves, I guess. I'm not nervous at all, actually. That's really annoying. Okay, I really want to show this off, but if I fail it one more time, I'm just gonna do the old variant of the skip. But I guess I'm gonna die on that one because I haven't done it in such a long time. Or maybe I should just, like, not fail it again. I'm so sorry, guys. This will be a good time for some donations. also do the menuing so like I switch the mail breaker to the secondary, to the left hand, so I can use it as a parrying dagger, which is this little movement. That's a parry basically. Yeah, let's see if it works out again. The fact that I'm getting this in just one quit out here is pretty neat. Well, not this time. So this time I fell on the very edge, so now I'm gonna have to keep on quitting out until I land on a stable position there. Okay, it was just one extra quit out, no big deal. There's some variants that can happen in the skip. I hope that the variant that's gonna happen now is the successful one. That'll be pretty cool. There's also like a pixel wide wall that I'm standing on there. Well, it's actually, I guess, thicker than 1 pixel, but okay, let's try this again. Third time's the charm. Okay, that's fine. Falling on the left side is fine. It might take me a couple of quit outs now because it's kind of hard to get back on it when you fall down and quit out, but yeah. I need to go further, right? The problem is like the 1 pixel wide wall is actually wide enough to have some leeway on it. The problem here is that I don't see it at all. I'm literally walking blindly. Okay. And here I can see it, so it should be completely fine. See, just walking on it is a piece of cake right now. Okay, let's see if this loads first try or second. Well, it's not gonna load like that. $0. Okay, it didn't load. When you saw the camera flick, this is my laptop special. Normally on normal PCs this loads on first try. I try to always preload it before I do runs, but yeah, it's like RNG. And the quit out is also kind of difficult, so hopefully I don't mess it up. Okay, that was good. So I don't see where I'm supposed to quit out. If I quit out too early, the game's gonna close my quit out menu because there's an area transition and that takes priority, the text that it shows. And if I quit out too late, I just take damage and die. So yeah, we completely skip Lighttown like this. Now we kill Quelaag. There's more shooting to be done. Yeah, I'm sorry that took so long. I normally don't fail this like ever. Especially in such a way that I would have to like redo the whole skip. That would happen twice. I really don't even fall off the wall anymore because I've just done it so many times. But yeah, that was Quelaag. Quelaag's dead. Now we're gonna ring the second bell that we were supposed to ring to get to the Sense Fortress, which we entered like 50 minutes ago or something. And we're gonna do another very cool skip. Back-to-back skips, boys and girls. I hope you enjoy skips. So this one's also not very complicated, but it looks super good. I'm gonna stand in this specific position on this elevator. Now this elevator is actually not part of this area. It's part of Quelaag's domain, which is the upper area. And this is the Demon Ruins. Sorry, other way around. This is Quelaag's domain still, and this is part of Demon Ruins. So you can see it's loading a little bit later, and with each quit out, I'm getting further and further back because I'm standing on a slope, till eventually. Okay, need one more. Till eventually I clip through. Now you will think, but Carter, you're not in full control. How are you gonna survive? Well, luckily there's a boss right beneath us, and luckily this boss is a reskin, so you can just plunge him because it's the reskin of the first boss of the game. Thanks, Miyazaki. And then you just one-shot him. Thanks for helping us, brother. I appreciate it. Now goodbye. So this skip would not be possible if the boss wasn't there directly under the elevator, and if you couldn't plunge him, because there's no way to plunge him in the fight. But because it's a reskin, you can plunge him. It's super funny. It's just funny how sometimes glitches and skips in games just work out. Okay, there's gonna be more wrong warping action. Okay, at least I got this first try. Frame perfect, okay? I'm trying to make up now for the failed Blighttown skip. So this warps us just back up to Demon Ruins, but it's a pretty big time save because it allows us to go straight to Fire Stage without having to ever get this bonfire and the boss that we just killed. And you can use RTSR for him, so it also like you kill him faster. Now there's a boss here that you have to kill. Normally what happens when you kill this boss, the lava that's on the left disappears. And normally that's like used casually to you're supposed to go to the area where the lava is And you cannot, of course, because there's a lava. Lava kills you. Which is not nice. You don't want to die. Now, I don't really care about that, because skipping, the way I skipped through the elevator, that goes past this lava. But it's still all bosses, I still have to kill it. So this is a Ceaseless Discharge. As you might have picked up on, Dark Beat is pretty good, so I'm just gonna stand here and do some shooting with my shotgun. That's not how shotgun sounds. Oh, that's okay. Well, he's dead. That's what matters. We're going back and we're gonna go through the rest of Isolith. And there's only 2 bosses remaining, actually. The run's coming to a close. I hope you've been enjoying it. I've tried to make it as cool as possible, considering I was given the opportunity to run a non-shooter at a shooter marathon. I really tried to make this interesting for you guys and try to explain everything to the best of my ability. So this is a Centipede Demon. You probably get the points with how these fights go. This one's actually a little bit difficult. You have to like aim to get the 2 shots. Yeah, and if you're shit, then you aim, and you aim incorrectly and you don't get the 2 shot. Also, don't forget sunglasses on, guys and gals, because if I had a webcam on, I would put them on, but this lava, dude, this lava texture is the absolute masterpiece. And so is the sound effect, dude. Just fantastic. Just fantastic. Really good game design. Makes me very happy every time I get here. Now in 100%, these dragon butts are non-respawnable enemies, and in 100% you have to kill all non-respawnable enemies. There's like freaking 29 of them, or 27 or something. 27, I think. So you have to spend all this time running through this lava. You can survive now because we dropped the orange shard ring from the boss we just killed from Centipede. But all of this you have to kill and just run in this lava, so you're blind, you're deaf. And killing them is also not very easy because Lacom doesn't actually work that well. It's quite something, honestly. Also, nice HP. Yeah, 100% is like all area completion, right? You have to understand it as that. You're changing the permanent things in the world. So it doesn't include getting weapons and stuff. Because that would just be really silly. So now we're running to Bed of Chaos. This whole area was super rushed. The devs were just running out of time on the development dates, and they had to rush it out. So this area is just crap, and the boss is like complete crap. Luckily, there's some talkie bombs that depend on the wind RNG. Of course, there's gonna be more shooting. We're gonna shoot the bombs from our hands. There's a thing here, but like, we don't really care about her. So there's 2 orbs on the side. It's an insanely gimmick boss that's super annoying, where the arena like drops and everything. But you can just go to the middle of the arena and throw 2 precisely placed bombs. I bought more just in case I had bad with RNG, aka I missed them. And you can hit the orbs, and then you can access the boss that's in the middle. I've totally not missed this 3 times on World Record pace already. We're gonna stand here, pop a blossom so I can roll more, aim there, throw it. I mean, shoot it again. This is perfect. Roll into these branches. This is what I popped the blossom for, so I can roll as much as possible. It's not over yet. We might get a firestorm. We didn't. Let me just shoot her. Now you might think, wow, Darkbeat is really OP, but you can actually kill this with anything. You can deal 1 damage to this worm and it's gonna die. Not in New Game Plus. In New Game Plus it has more HP. Okay, so that was the 25th boss. There's just 1 boss left. And you might think, okay, so we're gonna go to the Firelink Altar, thanks to Frampt, because we rang both the bells that breaks him up. See, like, this guy wasn't here before. It's a different serpent. There's 2 of them. Kath and Frampt. This is Frampt.
Sorry. Huh?
Shut the hell up. You're a sorry fool. And you might think that, putting this stuff here is actually faster, but it's not. I'm gonna go ahead and do wrong warp to get into the final arena. If this wasn't all bosses, if this was any percent, the whole goal of any percent is to get into the DLC and wrong warp into the last area. And another first try. So I'm making up for the failed blight down skip, okay? Getting these frame perfect tricks first try. And now we get to the bottom. There's the big gate is right up there, and now we're in the last area without ever offering the souls. Now, RTA is probably not faster, but in game time it's faster by like 5 seconds to do this because you spawn on the bottom of the stairs. Use this guy to get RTSR, and we're approaching the final boss. And that was kind of Monka-esque, but let's not worry about that. I've died to the Black Knight here as well. I've managed to die in many different areas and lose world record pace runs to that, but that's okay. This one is certainly not one of them. But we should be on the estimate. I think the estimate was lenient enough, I hope anyway. We only died once, then messed up blight down skip. So Gwyn is a really hard boss. He really is. He's got an insanely fast moveset. When they ported him to DS3 to Soul of Cinder, they had to slow down some of his attacks up to 10 times. He doesn't let you heal. Now that's not what we want to do anyway. He doesn't let you really breathe out. Like as soon as you get away, he jumps on you. It's really hard boss. And I really hope that I can kill him. Now I do have Dark Beat, so I do have quite a bit of damage. But like I said, man, this boss is really hard. It's what I would say if you couldn't parry him. So I'm just gonna parry him, do a 360, do another one, and he's dead. And let's do the cooler ending, which is the Dark Lord ending. There's 2 endings to this game. I'm gonna do the one that actually loses a little bit of time, but time is in like 5 seconds, aka it's actually now, so time. And I skipped the last cutscene. That's not what I wanted to do, but it's okay. So we didn't actually get to see the ending. Well, guys, this was Dark Souls. This is insanely loud, so I'm just gonna go ahead and skip that. Gonna quit out. 120.37 RTA. In-game times 1:11:45. That's like not terrible for a marathon. 1:11:45 is kind of nice. Anyway, yeah, you just walk a little. Right, anyway guys, this was Dark Souls All Bosses. If you enjoyed this, you can always hit me up here on Twitch. I do these runs, you know, quite often. And if you're more interested in speedrunning this for some reason, even though this is a shooter marathon, always go to speedsouls.com, join the Discord. It's like the #1 source for speed, of course. I'm gonna thank Matt again for letting me do this run here. I hope people enjoyed it. I hope you had a good time in the chat. The S2AA, screw you. And yeah, I don't really have anything else to add. I just hope you guys enjoy the rest of the marathon. I'm super happy Shots Fired is back. I've been, you know, always enjoying participating in these marathons, and it's really cool to see it back. Anyway, next run is next. I don't know what's next, but something's next. I hope you guys enjoy it, and I'll see you some other time maybe. Bye bye.